Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, okay. Another Rick Steves Europe video you can't see. One sec. There we go. Hi guys, original link to the video, top of the description, right below that. Link to the Discord, click on it, send it right over there. Would love to have you. My name's Connor, and I like to learn about things and watch stuff. Let's go. Such a good channel. I loved the Cotswolds one and the Netherlands one I did as well yesterday or the day before. Let's go.
Steves.
As always, like if you live anywhere or have been to some of the places he's going to, I love to see it down in the comments or just any comments down there. Love to see it. Let's go.
Back with more. Hi, I'm Rick Steves, back with more of the best of Europe. This time, we're exploring a gorgeous region where druids dance and water wheels turn. It's the west of England. Thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, he's got a great intro.
If you like England and you want to mix its natural, historic, and cultural wonders, you'll love the West.
Sorry, I need a freaking haircut.
If you like England and you want to mix its natural, historic, and cultural wonders, you'll love the West. While everything in this episode's within a couple hours of London, out here, it feels a world away from the big city. After hiking through picturesque Cotswold villages, we'll play shuffleboard with an eccentric lord.
That's a nice one.
We'll tour a striking cathedral and attend evensong. After going way back to the Neolithic age,
I've been there. Why is he allowed so close?
evensong. After going way back to the Neolithic age,
It's magnificent. Really, I wish I could have gotten closer, but understandably you can't because super old world heritage thing, can't mess with it. I just wish I could get closer.
we'll zoom into the New Age. And we'll top it off with some hard apple cider, straight from the farmer. Great Britain is made of England, Scotland, and Wales, and we're exploring the west of England. Starting in the Cotswolds, we visit Stow-on-the-Wold and Chipping-Campden. Then it's south to Wells, Glastonbury, and the prehistoric stone circles of Stonehenge and Avebury. The Cotswold Hills are dotted with enchanting villages and bucolic farmland, and it's all laced together by wonderful trails. This is the quintessential English countryside, and
God.
it's walking country. The Cotswolds are best appreciated on foot, and that's how we'll tour the area. The region's made to order for tenderfeet. You'll encounter time-past villages, delightful vistas, and poetic moments. You'll discover hidden stone bridges, cut across fancy front yards, and enjoy close encounters with lots of sheep. The English love their walks and defend their age-old right to free passage. And they organize to assure that landowners respect this law too. Any paths found blocked are unceremoniously unblocked. While landlords have plenty of fences, they provide
guys.
plenty of gates.
So, does that mean that you can legally walk through anywhere, even if it's someone's private property? Like it's a law, or is it just like an unwritten rule where if you did want to kick someone off and get them arrested or something, you could?
Gates as well.
I'm not trying to say you should be able. It's just a genuine question.
Okay. You'll encounter all sorts of gates on these hikes. This one's called a kissing gate. It works better with two. Lower Slaughter is a classic example of a Cotswold village with a babbling brook, charming gardens, and a
Did she just fill up her boot?
With a babbling brook.
Yeah, she did.
Charming gardens, and a working watermill. Just above the mill, a delightful cafe overlooks the mill pond. As with many fairy tale regions in Europe, the present-day beauty of the Cotswolds was the result of an economic disaster. Wool was a huge industry in medieval England, and Cotswold sheep grew the very best. According to a 12th century saying, in Europe, the best wool is English, and in England, the best wool is Cotswold. It's a story of boom and bust, and then boom again. Because of its wool, the region prospered. Wealthy wool merchants built fine homes of the honey-colored local limestone. Thankful to God for the riches their sheep brought, they built oversized churches nicknamed wool cathedrals. But with the rise of cotton and the Industrial Revolution, the region's wool industry collapsed. The fine Cotswold towns fell into a depressed time warp, becoming sleeping beauties. Because of that, the region has a rustic charm. And that's the basis of today's new prosperity. Its residents are catering to lots of tourists, and the Cotswolds have become a popular escape for Londoners. People who can afford thatched mansions like these. In England, Main Street is called the High Street, and in Cotswold market towns, High Street was built wide, designed to handle thousands of sheep on market days. The handsome market town of Chipping Campden has a high street that's changed little over the centuries. Everything you see was made of the same finely worked Cotswold stone, the only stone allowed today. Roofs still use the traditional stone shingles. To make the weight easier to bear, smaller and lighter slabs are higher up. A 17th century market hall with its original stonework from top to bottom intact marks the town center. Hikers admire the surviving medieval workmanship. You can imagine centuries of wheelings and dealings that took place under these very rafters. Continuing our walk, we come to the quaint village of Stanton. Travel writers tend to overuse the word quaint.
I've never ridden a horse, and I always wanted to. I think horses are so cool and beautiful animals. I've never ridden a horse.
Stanton. Travel writers tend to overuse the word quaint. I save it for here in the Cotswolds. A strict building code keeps towns looking what many locals call overly quaint. Village churches welcome walkers to pop in and enjoy a thoughtful break. This church probably sits upon an ancient pagan site. How do we know? It's dedicated to Saint Michael, and Michael, the archangel who fought the devil, still guards the door. Inside, you get a sense that this church has comforted this community in good times and bad. Pre-Christian symbols decorate the columns, perhaps left over from those pagan days. And the list of perhaps left.
So is that like a sun god? I'd imagine almost like any, pagan religion must have had some sun deity.
Bad.
Is that the moon? I don't know.
Pre-Christian symbols decorate the columns.
Obviously, it's a guy's face.
Perhaps left over from those pagan days. And the list of rectors goes way back without a break to the year 1269. This church was built with wool money. In fact, they say generations of sheepdog leashes actually wore these grooves. I guess a shepherd took his dog everywhere, even to church. Throughout this region, a few of the vast domains of England's most powerful families have survived.
So cool, look at that.
The Cotswolds are dotted with elegant Downton Abbey-type mansions. Today, with the high cost of maintenance and heavy taxes, some noble families have opened their homes to the public to help pay the bills.
Croquet! I will destroy you. I am so good at croquet, all right?
Stanway House, home of the Earl of
Crockett.
Weems, is one such venerable manor house.
Sorry, I gotta stop talking. Earl of what?
Stanway House, home of the Earl of Weems, is one such
Look at that
venerable
grass.
manor house. The Earl, whose family goes back centuries, welcomes visitors 2 days a week. Walking through his house offers a surprisingly intimate glimpse into the lifestyles of England's nobility. And the gracious and likably eccentric Earl has agreed to personally show us around his ancestral home, including a peek at some touching family mementos.
Hair cut off members of the family.
That was a tradition.
It was certainly in this house, it was a tradition.
Yeah.
And it's kept in this drawer here. And for instance, it says Papa's hair. My sister gave it me March the 11th, 1771.
This piece of paper from 1771.
And then that's the hair inside.
goodness.
Wow. Which is just as fresh as the day it was cut off.
Wow.
Can you touch it?
That's his hair cut off on the day his wife died of pneumonia.
So this is a huge table.
It is. It's 23 feet long.
And what's the game?
It's called shuffleboard or shovelboard. It was known in Henry VIII's time. This one was built, we think, in 1625, just the beginning of the reign of Charles I. And you use these 10 pieces, and you try and
Let's try again.
shovel them up to the far end. That's a nice one.
It may be a game for English aristocrats,
Without
but
getting
this
it over.
Yankee commoner's gonna give it a try.
Very good. Very good. 1 point. Very good. Very nice, but 2 foot short. 50.
Another interesting artifact is what was called a chamber horse, a sprung exercise chair from the 1750s.
Yeah. And you did that. You bounce up and down and your liver gets shaken.
For 100 years, fine ladies would sit on
Maybe it could be good for like digestion.
And down and your liver gets shaken.
for
But not
100
the
years.
greatest workout machine. I mean, you're mostly just bouncing.
You bounce up and down and your liver gets shaken.
If anything, okay, that's interesting. And I wonder when the first, well, I suppose people have been exercising forever. People don't have to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger for there to have been. It just made me think. I wonder when the first sort of exercise machine was made, and clearly it was before this.
Did that. You bounce up and down and your liver gets shaken.
For 100 years, fine ladies would sit on here and get their liver done.
And fine gentlemen too, I think.
Fine gentlemen too.
I won't
A
say
chamber
anything.
horse. I guess that makes sense, doesn't
Well,
it?
it's just like going to the gym nowadays.
Lord Weems has rebuilt the old fountain in his backyard, and today, as one of the highest gravity-fed fountains in the world, rockets 300 feet into the sky.
That's
It's
crazy.
the talk of the Cotswolds.
How high is the source? I always wanted to try that out. Like get like a bucket of water, big, and rise it up, and attach a hose that goes down, and just like see how high you have to lift it for it to like really spurt out. Am I just
For
weird?
commoners, the Lord's sprawling parkland backyard makes for a jolly good day out.
Can they swim? Or is that not allowed?
While not quite in a noble mansion, we're sleeping plenty comfortably just down the road in the village of Stow-on-the-Wold. Stow mixes medieval charm with a workaday reality. A selection of traditional pubs, cute shops, and inviting cafes ring its busy square. For centuries, the square hosted a huge wool market. The historic market cross stood tall, reminding all Christian merchants to trade fairly under the sight of God. And stocks like these were handy when a scoundrel deserved a little public ridicule.
Oh, I would be in that
People
like
came
once a
from
week.
as far away as Italy to buy the prized Cotswold wool fleeces. You can imagine, with 20,000 sheep sold on a single day, it was a thriving scene. The sheep would be paraded into the market down narrow fleece alleys like this. They were built really narrow because it forced the sheep to go single file so they could count them as they entered the market.
The fat sheep.
And ever since those medieval
Sorry, was that
market
me?
days, pubs have been the place to gather, enjoy a meal, and a pint of beer. Tonight, we're checking out a gastropub. That's a pub known for its fine food. While many things that pubs provide, like like the
Oh my god, I'd look so amazing in there. Is that a bacon wrapped chicken?
It's a pub known for its fine food. While many things that pubs provide, like the cozy ambiance and community living room vibe, haven't changed, other things, like the quality of the food, certainly have. This isn't your grandmother's pub grub. Pubs are putting more effort
I
into
don't
their
like Indian rice.
This
I love the way they cook rice in Chinese restaurants. I don't get it. I know people are gonna say buy a rice cooker, okay? I have. It still doesn't come out nearly as good. At Chinese restaurants, it's like sticky, but perfectly al dente, I guess is the word. And it's sticky and yet not slimy. It's just so good. And I'm not that big of a fan of Indian style rice. But I wish they have some secret in Chinese restaurants that I need to know.
isn't your grandmother's pub grub. Pubs are putting more effort into their offerings. Creative chefs are shaking up England's reputation for food. And you won't find mushy peas anywhere on this menu. We're enjoying guinea fowl and artfully prepared fish with fresh vegetables. We're enjoying guinea fowl.
Is that a piece of liver or something?
And artfully prepared fish with fresh vegetables.
That looks amazing.
A short drive south takes us into Somerset and to the wonderfully preserved city of Wells, dominated by its glorious cathedral.
It almost seems like it's unfinished when you first look at it, as if like these should be a bit taller. Or at least have like these capstones on the sides or something. I mean, it's phenomenal. I'm not dissing it. It just look at all the statues too. I want to know how they built this. They clearly must have done a sort of inner wall or outer.
Wells has a charming medieval center. The stately Bishop's Palace is circled by a park-like moat and sports an impressive front yard. It's a market city and has been for a long time. The peaceful Vicar's Close is perfectly preserved, lined with 14th century houses. Locals claim this is the oldest complete medieval street in Europe. Originally built to house the cathedral choir, it still does. This overpass connects it with the cathedral. England's first completely Gothic church dates from about 1200. The west portal shows off what's said to be the greatest collection of medieval statuary anywhere in Europe. About 300 13th century carvings. This entire ensemble was once painted in vivid color. It must have been a spectacular welcome. A heavenly host proclaimed.
I'm pausing a lot, but how did they do that in the 1100s? So clearly you need some sort of crane, and they had a pulley system, I'm sure. But just did they carve it on the face of the building, or were these carvings all done off of the building and then placed on it?
Claiming welcome to worship. Stepping inside, you're struck by the unique and ingenious scissors arch. This hourglass-shaped double arch was added in about 1340 to bolster the church's sagging tower. Nearly 700 years later, it's not only still working, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
The chimes draw your attention to one of the oldest working clocks in the world, from 1392. The clock does its much-loved joust on the quarter hour. More medieval whimsy is carved into the capitals. This man has a toothache. Another pulls a thorn from his foot. And a farmer clobbers a thief so hard his hat falls off.
Oh, I thought his head.
And under glorious stained glass, you can enjoy the cathedral's evensong. The evensong is a Church of England choral service traditionally performed each evening and welcoming everyone. Taking a seat in the intimate central part of the church, we enjoy the opportunity to experience the church filled with timeless music. Because we're here in July, the Cathedral's choir is on break and a visiting choir is performing. This one's from near Liverpool.
Look at
The countryside around Wells is great for growing apples. And you can visit farms that brew the authentic hard cider, known around here as scrumpy. While cider is becoming more and more refined and popular, the traditional scrumpy still attracts a devoted crowd, especially here in Somerset. And at Land's End Cider Farm, Roger Wilkins is as old school as it comes. His enthusiasm alone is intoxicating.
Did your father make this same cider?
My father did, but actually I learned it off my grandfather. The actual making of the cider is exactly the same now as my grandfather done it. All we do is crush them up, press the apples, the natural juice comes out, the yeast is in the skin of the apple, so I don't put nothing at all in it. It's the purest drink you'll get.
We head into the tasting room, which I'm guessing looks about the same as it did when Roger's grandfather ran the place. It's time to sample the pure apple taste of scrumpy, along with its 6.8 alcohol content.
I've heard when you drink scrumpy, you've got to be careful.
Well, yeah, it can knock you about if you ain't used to it. No. Gallon a day to keep the doctor away.
I've heard some pubs actually don't serve it because
No, they won't. If you go in now, they'll serve you half a pint, right?
And it's pure, so it's so pure that in the morning, no problem.
No problem at all. No headaches, no hangovers, no nothing.
That may be true, but after my tasting, I'm making sure my producer does the driving. Throughout England, the countryside is picturesque, and it hides a Throughout England, the countryside is picturesque. Throughout England, the countryside is picturesque, and it hides a fascinating history. A history that goes back thousands of years to prehistoric times. Mysterious figures carved into hillsides. Curious man-made mountains. Ancient bridges.
probably a tomb.
And legends that go back to Camelot and beyond. Ancient bridges. And legends that go back to Camelot and beyond. Glastonbury, a modest market town today, has long had a holy aura. It was a religious site back in the Bronze Age, that's about 1500 BC. It's also considered the birthplace of Christianity in England and the burial site of the legendary King Arthur. Centuries before Christ, this hill, called a tor, marked Glastonbury. For thousands of years, pilgrims and seekers have climbed it. Today, it's capped by the ruins of a church dedicated to Saint Michael. Remember, because St. Michael was the Christian antidote to paganism, it's a good bet this church sits upon a pre-Christian holy site. Seen by many as a mother goddess symbol, the Glastonbury Tor has long attracted a variety of travelers and seekers. And the Tor has a biblical connection as well. For centuries, pilgrims have come here to Glastonbury on a quest for the legendary Holy Grail. You see, Joseph of Arimathea, who was an uncle of Christ, was a tin trader. And even back in biblical times, Britain was well known as a rare place where tin could be mined. Considering that, Joseph could have sat right here with the chalice that Jesus drank from at the Last Supper in his satchel. Near the base of the hill is a calm and
religious stuff aside, that was just beautiful.
meditative garden built around a natural spring. According to legend, the Holy Grail lies at the bottom of the Chalice Well. In the past, people came here for physical healing. Today, seekers still come for healing, but it's more for a wellness of the mind and soul. England's first church was built here at the base of the hill next to the Chalice Well. Eventually, a great abbey was built on the site of that church. Mix the scant ruins of England's first church with the mystique of King Arthur and the Holy Grail. Add the hard work of a busy monastery, and by the 12th century, Glastonbury Abbey was the leading Christian pilgrimage site in all of Britain. It was huge, employing 1,000 people to serve the needs of its pilgrims.
Look, call me crazy, but I just have a desire to just go to this part of England and just walk around. Just walk around. Go during a green time of the year. I don't really care about the weather. Sure, it'd be nice if it was nice out, but honestly, it'd be just a special... Just because, all right, this might sound like crazy talk, but just knowing that further back down, my kind of, parents just kind of came from this area of the world. I want to go back and just kind of connect again. I'm really not a superstitious or a religious person at all. I don't believe in it, and I don't really have any spirituality, if you want to say, right? But just to kind of connect back with it, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
Glastonbury add the hard work of a busy monastery, and by the 12th century, Glastonbury Abbey was the leading Christian pilgrimage site in all of Britain. It was huge, employing 1,000 people to serve the needs of its pilgrims. At its peak, Glastonbury Abbey was England's most powerful and wealthy. It was part of a network of monasteries that by the year 1500 challenged the king. They owned about a quarter of all English land. They had more money than the king. To King Henry VIII, abbeys like this were political obstacles. In 1536, he solved that by dissolving England's monasteries. He was particularly...
Wait, what?
He had more money than the king. To King Henry VIII, abbeys like this were political obstacles. In 1536, he solved that by dissolving England's monasteries.
Okay.
He was particularly harsh on Glastonbury. He not only destroyed its magnificent church, but for emphasis, his men hung the abbot, displayed his head on the abbey gates, and sent his quartered body on 4 different national tours.
Henry, easy, my brother. Drawn and quartered. Would they have some sick game of when you break a wishbone with someone, from a chicken or a turkey or something, of which one is gonna split or something like that?
At the same time. Without its wealthy abbey, the town fell into a depression, but Glastonbury rebounded, an 18th century tourism campaign, with thousands claiming that water from the Chalice Well actually healed them, put Glastonbury back on the map. Today, Glastonbury and its mysterious hill are a center for searchers, popular with those on their own spiritual quest. Part of the fun of a visit here is just being in a town where goddesses go for their conventions, where every other shop has a New Age focus, and where alternative is the norm. For a more tangible look at the spiritual mystery of this countryside, prehistoric stone circles are scattered all across Britain. These circles, many as old as Egypt's pyramids, were sacred centers of ritual and worship. They functioned as celestial calendars, 5,000 years ago, locals could tell when to plant and when to party, according to where the sun rose and where the sun set.
Question, guys, though. What I don't understand with these things
Spiritual mystery
is
countryside. These
why is it a full circle?
circles, prehistoric.
Because you're in the northern hemisphere. The sun is only going to rise in the south, right? You ever notice how in the north the sun never sets or rises over there, no matter what time of the year, for obvious reasons? So why is it a complete circle if they're just trying to... Wouldn't it just be like a half circle facing southward? What's the point of having the northward stones? You know?
Stone circles are scattered all across Britain. These circles, many as old as Egypt's pyramids, were sacred centers of ritual and worship. They functioned as celestial calendars. 5,000 years ago, locals could tell when to plant and when to party, according to where the sun rose and where the sun set. It still works that way today. At the Avebury Stone Circle, you're free to wander among 100 stones. Visitors ponder the cohesive ensemble of ditches, mounds, and megaliths, the work of people clearly on a mission from thousands of years ago. The huge circle, while cut in two by a busy road and so big it contains a village, retains its allure and wonder. And nearby stands Silbury Hill, a yet-to-be-explained man-made mountain of chalk.
Aren't there like pre-English British Isle set? Isn't that a burial site?
More than 4,000 years, this largest man-made construction from prehistoric Europe is just another edifice from England's mysterious and ancient religious landscape.
And exactly what's it all mean? We'll never know for sure. It's like looking at the ruins of a medieval church and from that alone trying to understand Christianity.
Stonehenge is the most famous of Britain's stone circles. A visit starts at the museum, where you'll see artifacts from the Stone Age people
I've been in this building. This is cool.
Built it. A 360-degree theater demonstrates how the structure is aligned with the heavens, marking both the longest and the shortest days of the year.
Wait, was I here? I was here, but I don't really remember this.
And outside, a thatched hut hamlet helps you imagine how its Neolithic builders once lived.
Huge stones like this replica were quarried, carved, and then moved for many miles, some of them from as far away as Wales, 200 miles to the west. They barged them down rivers. They may have rolled them on logs like this. Nobody knows for sure.
After this introduction, a bus shuttles you to the site. Visitors are in awe as they ponder the continuously debated purposes and meaning of Stonehenge. The major stones were erected at the end of the Stone Age, just before the advent of metal tools. It's amazing to think that some of these cross stones have been in place for 4,500 years. Whatever its original purpose, Stonehenge still functions as a celestial calendar. Even in modern times, the sun rises on the longest day of the year in just the right spot, and it retains its powerful sense of wonder over those who gather. For over 4,000 years in a row, this ensemble of stones, so artfully assembled, has silently done its duty.
Why here? And for what purpose?
He gets access to the middle.
These questions, along with many more about Stonehenge, remain shrouded in mystery. But there's no mystery at all about the fact that this part of England is a fascinating region to explore. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rick Steves. Until next time, keep on traveling.
Ah, you've got a big one.
He's so great.
There you go.
Great video from McSteve's Europe. I'm gonna keep watching these. North Wales, feisty and poetic. I'm gonna try and do a different country again after this. But loved it. West England, Rick Steves Europe. Awesome. Can't wait to see your guys' comments. Hope you guys are all doing well. If not, well, you'll be fine. Don't worry. All right. See you guys next time. Bye.